In the bustling financial district of Tokyo, where neon lights flicker against towering skyscrapers, a different kind of light is flashing, one of warning. The Japanese yen, once a stalwart of stability in the global currency market, has plummeted to levels not seen since the era of big hair and synthesizer music. As Finance Minister Shinichi Suzuki nervously adjusts his tie before a sea of reporters, one can almost hear the collective intake of breath from financial analysts worldwide. The yen's dramatic slide to 160.87 per dollar isn't just a number on a ticker tape. It's a profound statement about the state of Japan's economy and its place in the global financial ecosystem. To understand the gravity of this situation, we must first embark on a journey through the labyrinth of Japan's economic history and the cultural forces that have shaped its financial destiny. Japan's post-war economic miracle, often referred to as the Japanese economic miracle, was a period of rapid economic growth from the 1950s to the 1980s. During this time, Japan transformed from a war-torn nation into an economic powerhouse, rivaling even the United States. The yen, riding on the coattails of this success, became a symbol of Japan's economic might. Fast forward to 2023, and we find ourselves in a starkly different landscape. The once mighty yen is now languishing at levels that would make even the most stoic of Japanese businessmen wince. This begs the question, what happened to the land of the rising sun? The answer, like most things in economics, is complex and multifaceted. It's a tale of demographic decline, stubborn deflation, and a central bank that has been playing a high-stakes game of monetary poker for the better part of 2 decades. Japan's population is aging faster than a fine sake left out in the sun. With one of the lowest birth rates in the world and a cultural aversion to large-scale immigration, Japan's workforce is shrinking at an alarming rate. This demographic time bomb has been ticking for years, and its effects are now reverberating through every aspect of the Japanese economy, including its currency. Imagine, if you will, a nation where adult diapers outsell baby diapers. This is not the opening line of a dystopian novel. It's the reality in Japan. The implications of this demographic shift are profound. A smaller workforce means less productivity, less consumption, and ultimately, less economic growth. It's a vicious cycle that has proven difficult to break. While much of the world grapples with inflation, Japan has been fighting a different beast altogether: persistent deflation. For years, prices in Japan have been falling or stagnating, creating a unique set of economic challenges. When consumers expect prices to fall, they tend to delay purchases, leading to a self-fulfilling prophecy of economic stagnation. The Bank of Japan, under the leadership of Governor Haruhiko Kuroda, has been waging a relentless war against deflation. Their weapon of choice? Ultra-loose monetary policy. The central bank has kept interest rates at rock-bottom levels and engaged in massive quantitative easing, effectively printing money to stimulate the economy. While these policies have had some success in combating deflation, they've also had an unintended consequence: weakening the yen. As other major economies, particularly the United States, have begun to raise interest rates to combat inflation, the interest rate differential has put significant downward pressure on the Japanese currency. To fully appreciate the yen's predicament, we must zoom out and consider the global economic landscape. The world is grappling with the aftermath of a global pandemic, supply chain disruptions, and geopolitical tensions that have sent shockwaves through financial markets. The United States, in particular, has been aggressively raising interest rates to combat inflation. This has made the dollar more attractive to investors seeking higher yields, putting pressure on other currencies, including the yen. Moreover, Japan's reliance on imported energy has become a significant liability in a world of rising commodity prices. As a resource-poor nation, Japan is particularly vulnerable to fluctuations in global energy markets. The recent surge in oil and gas prices has only exacerbated the yen's woes, as Japan must spend more of its weakening currency to purchase the energy it needs. As the yen continues its descent, the Japanese government finds itself in a precarious position. Finance Minister Suzuki's carefully worded statement about taking necessary action as needed is a classic example of the delicate dance that policymakers must perform in times of currency crisis. On one hand, a weak yen can be beneficial for Japan's export-oriented economy. It makes Japanese goods more competitive on the global market and can boost the profits of multinational corporations when they repatriate their earnings. This is why some have referred to currency depreciation as a form of stealth stimulus. On the other hand, an excessively weak currency can have severe negative consequences. It makes imports more expensive, potentially leading to inflation and eroding the purchasing power of Japanese consumers. It can also create instability in financial markets and damage confidence in the Japanese economy. The question of intervention is further complicated by international agreements and the potential for retaliation from other countries. Any direct action to prop up the yen could be seen as currency manipulation, potentially straining Japan's relationships with its trading partners. To truly understand Japan's economic challenges, we must also consider the cultural factors at play. Japan's society is often characterized by its emphasis on harmony, consensus, and long-term thinking. While these traits have many positive aspects, they can also lead to resistance to change and a reluctance to embrace bold, transformative policies. The concept of nemawashi, or building consensus before making decisions, is deeply ingrained in Japanese business and political culture. While this approach can lead to well-considered policies, it can also result in slow decision-making and missed opportunities in a rapidly changing global economy. Moreover, Japan's traditional lifetime employment system and seniority-based wage structure, while providing stability, can also hinder labor market flexibility and productivity growth. These cultural factors contribute to the broader economic challenges that Japan faces and, by extension, impact the value of the yen. In an era dominated by technological innovation, Japan finds itself in a paradoxical position. Once at the forefront of consumer electronics and high-tech manufacturing, Japan has struggled to maintain its competitive edge in the digital age. The rise of Silicon Valley and China's tech giants has left many of Japan's once dominant companies playing catch-up. This technological lag has implications for productivity growth and economic dynamism, which in turn affect the strength of the currency. While Japan still excels in certain high-tech niches, such as robotics and advanced materials, it has fallen behind in areas like software development and e-commerce. The struggle to adapt to the digital economy is not just a matter of corporate strategy. It reflects deeper societal issues. Japan's education system, while excellent in many respects, has been criticized for emphasizing rote learning over creativity and critical thinking skills that are crucial in the rapidly evolving tech landscape. As the world grapples with the existential threat of climate change, Japan faces a unique set of challenges and opportunities. On one hand, Japan's technological prowess and engineering expertise position it well to be a leader in green technologies. The country has made significant strides in areas like hydrogen fuel cells and energy-efficient appliances. On the other hand, Japan's reliance on imported fossil fuels and its struggles to transition away from nuclear power in the wake of the Fukushima disaster have left it vulnerable to energy price shocks. This vulnerability is reflected in the yen's weakness, as higher energy costs strain Japan's trade balance. The transition to a green economy presents both risks and opportunities for Japan. Success in this area could revitalize Japan's economy and strengthen the yen, but the path forward is fraught with challenges and requires significant investment and policy changes. Japan's economic challenges cannot be viewed in isolation from the broader geopolitical landscape. The country finds itself navigating an increasingly complex web of international relationships, particularly in light of rising tensions between the United States and China. As a key ally of the United States and a major economic partner of China, Japan must perform a delicate balancing act. The outcome of this geopolitical chess game has significant implications for Japan's economy and, by extension, its currency. The recent formation of economic and security alliances, such as the Quad, comprising the US, Japan, Australia, and India and AUKUS, reflect Japan's efforts to hedge against China's growing influence.